don't get offended if I start picking up a British accent. I tend to just pick up other people's accent. I don't mean it, so just play with me. Is that all right?
Oh, absolutely, Maria, I will do. By sentence 3, you'll have the Downton Abbey down to a T.
Ooh, love that show. Okay, I digress. So let's talk about the events industry. Here we are at IMEX in Las Vegas. People are meeting in person. We're loving it. We're having a great time. Tell me about kind of like the state of industry in your opinion.
Well, I think, Maria, the state of the industry this week typifies exactly what's going on. We are back to the numbers that we were in 2019, the positivity. We're not talking about the future being positive, we're saying that now it is happening. We are back to business. And that's exactly what I'm seeing throughout the world in our member venues. So smaller conferences, meetings, training, they're happening, they're back with a vengeance. So from my perspective, we're back, we realize the value of meetings, and our venues are full.
So we were talking a little bit about the virtual model versus the in-person model, and you actually gave me some great insights. So share what you were sharing with me earlier.
Well, we were talking a little bit about, are we concerned about the future in regards to virtual reality, hybrid, etc.? And my answer to you is absolutely not. I think we are now more certain than we were from 2019 that the future has to involve a live element. We can do only so much online, and the question of whether it's more effective to do things online, I believe, is dissipated, and we are back to meeting in person. But I think what will be retained is that digitally live meetings are what we will see in the future. So the digital concept and element is still going to be there. We will just always need to bring humans back together to solve difficult problems and change the world.
So what's one of the key areas right now that the events industry is focused on?
Well, we recognize that we do not want to be an industry that's viewed like in the 1980s of the tobacco companies were, in terms of those that are damaging to health, damaging to the planet. So this industry is working really hard now, not just to reduce the carbon footprint of the events and the conferences that are taking place, but actually to have a carbon positive effect. And I believe that the technology, the impetus, the motivation to do that is there, but we have to act now. And this community this week, and the leadership within the meetings industry, showing that level of commitment. So we will make a difference, we will be carbon positive in the future, and we will not be seen as that damaging industry.
Well, I think the main motto that I've been hearing is people over profit, so people first. And I tell you, I go to the trash cans now, and I've never been so stressed in my life trying to figure out how to dispose. Which bin do I? Okay, what am I holding? It's this coffee cup, right?
I know, and that visibility I think is really important when it's there. But also what I see, and particularly in Las Vegas, if you go for a run in the morning like I do, and you go to the back of these hotels, even when that trash is being taken out, it's being carefully separated. Like there are teams at work making sure that the food waste is going to the pig farms, that the recyclables are being put into groupings so that they can be handled effectively. So even if what you see is really impressive, what you don't see is even more impressive. So I'm pleased at the direction we're heading in. Of course we want to go faster, and I believe that's what we're going to see in the coming years.
So Mark, I'd love to ask about what your organization is doing and how to get the events industry really participating fully in what you're talking about.
Oh my word, Maria, this is the most important point that we are at today. So for us truly to move from where we are now to being great environmentally sound industry, we have to have both buyers and the supply side, the hotels, the conference centers, working together in unison. And there's still too much of a gap between the two. And the example I will give you is if you make a decision of which venue you're going to use for your next conference, based upon, for instance, their social responsibility credentials, what are they doing in terms of food donations, what are they doing with their communities, then the venues and the hotels will invest in those areas for the future. But if we're not asking those questions, then that's where the chain breaks down, because the industry doesn't invest. So what we're doing, what IAC is doing out there, is we are putting together cheat sheets, tips, template RFP questions that can be put together that will help meeting professionals ask, yes, about the food and beverage and the facilities, but elevate that, what are your social responsibility credentials? So we want to help them be the voice and the champions for our planet in the future.
Well, thank you so much for doing what you do and speaking with us today. And most importantly, thank you for being your size. I like this. You're the perfect height for me.